welcome to the deep dive. You know, there are some stories that they get under your skin, don't they?
Oh, absolutely.
They feel less like just a story and more like something real or something that could be. Today, we're doing a deep dive into one of those. It's a really chilling narrative from Shadows and Stories, the horror podcast. The segment's called The Cursed Tree, a terrifying story. And it starts simple enough, summer visit. But wow, it spirals fast.
It really does into this full-blown supernatural terror. And it all revolves around this one specific, really sinister, ancient tree.
So our mission here for this deep dive is to kind of unpack how this story works, how it turns a simple warning, don't touch the tree, into something truly terrifying.
Exactly. And we want to look at the psychology behind it, how these legends grab hold of you. And this idea of waking something up, it's primal, isn't it?
It really is.
So you listening, you're basically going to get a shortcut here to understanding what makes this kind of folklore tick, why it's so unsettling.
Okay, let's get into it then. The story kicks off with Mary. She's one of the people telling it. And she's up front, says she never really bought into curses, hauntings, that kind of stuff.
Right, just old wives' tales to her.
Exactly. Until this one summer visit to her grandmother's place in rural Mississippi. And she says something like, nothing felt like just a story there. That's a great line.
It is. And that initial skepticism makes her eventual terror feel much more earned, more impactful for us.
Definitely. And the setting, wow, they really use it well.
Oh, yeah. The description paints such a picture.
Yeah.
This lonely house, farmland.
Surrounded by, acres of dying crops.
Yeah, and a silence that seemed too heavy. It's not just atmosphere. It's like the place itself is pressing down on you.
Totally strips away any sense of normal safety, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Makes you feel like anything could happen out there.
Precisely. It just primes you for the dread that's coming.
And then we get the main event. The hollow root. This huge crooked tree right at the edge of the woods.
And the description again, blackened bark, half-dead leaves.
And a feeling like it was watching us. Gives you chills just hearing it.
It does. And then comes the grandmother's warning. Super strict, no messing around, don't go near that tree after dark, ever.
Right. So what does that specific command do? Like right away?
Well, it immediately sets up this tension, this dramatic irony, right? Because you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, especially with kids.
Exactly. It's a direct order tied to something visually creepy. It basically dares them to cross the line. Mary and her cousin Eli, they joke about it, dare each other.
To touch it in broad daylight, like that makes it safe.
Right, which makes their decision feel almost inevitable, like a tragedy waiting to happen. Sets up that sense of foreboding perfectly.
So, yeah, they do it. They touch the tree. And this is the pivot point, isn't it? The story shifts instantly.
Instantly. No slow burn here. Mary says, the moment our fingers brushed that bark, everything changed.
That night, she hears scratching.
Yeah.
Described as like something dragging its claws across the window screen.
Ooh.
That quick jump from a dare to like immediate consequences.
Huh?
What's the effect of that?
It's a shock, right? It jolts you. It confirms the threat isn't just superstition. It's active, it's real, and it's responding now.
And the sound itself, the scratching.
That's classic auditory horror. You can't see it, so your imagination just runs wild with what could be out there, something trying to get in.
It gets worse. Eli, her cousin, suddenly sits bolt upright in bed.
Yeah, stiff and pale.
And whispers, "It's at the door." Terrifying. And John, the other narrator, he confirms it too. He heard stuff.
Right, this low creaking sound first, like the porch couldn't take the weight of something heavy. Then the doorknob rattles. And then, just silence, which is almost worse.
Having both of them experience it, the same things, that makes it harder to dismiss, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely crucial. It's not just Mary's bad dream anymore. It's shared. It's objective within the story's reality.
Yeah.
Two people hear something heavy, hear the doorknob. It makes the entity feel solid, physically present right outside, a real threat.
So the next morning comes, and you'd think Grandma would be worried about the noise, asking what happened.
But no!
No, she's furious. But not about the noise, about them.
She points right at them. You touched it, didn't you? You woke it up.
You woke it up. What does that tell us about her warning? It wasn't just, be careful.
Exactly. It shows this is deep knowledge, not just folklore. She understands the consequences. The entity was dormant, maybe contained somehow. And their touch, that was the trigger.
A provocation.
Yes, a direct, almost ritualistic act that had immediate dangerous results. Connects their little dare to this big, dark history.
And then she shows them the proof. Physical proof.
Yeah. Out in the yard. This trail. a long black trail of rot stretching from the tree to our porch.
Like something crawled across the grass and just burned it dead.
It's visceral, isn't it? It's the entity leaving its mark, moving from its space into theirs.
It's not just a feeling or a sound anymore. It's physically there, leaving destruction.
Right. The rot signifies corruption, decay. It proves something monstrous literally crossed that lawn, blurs that line between the supernatural and the physical world completely.
And this leads into the backstory, which just layers on more dread. The grandmother tells them about the previous owners.
The Crenshaw family, known for strange rituals and disappearances.
And guess what was central to their activity?
Hollow Root. It was their sacred offering place.
How does knowing that change how we see the tree now?
It deepens the horror immensely. It gives it the sense of, deep time. This isn't a new problem. It's ancient evil tied to the land itself.
Like the tree is a focal point for it.
Exactly. The Crenshaw's rituals, their disappearances, it sets a pattern. What's happening now feels like that pattern repeating. An old cycle starting up again.
And the end of the Crenshaw story is just nightmarish.
Oh, it's awful. One night during a storm, all 6 of them found hanging from the tree.
But the detail. No ropes, no blood, just suspended. As if the tree has swallowed their souls. That lack of ropes, that's the kicker, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It screams supernatural force. The tree wasn't just where they died, it implies the tree was the agent of their death.
Like it consumed them.
Yeah, it makes the tree itself the antagonist. An active, predatory entity that's been doing this for generations. Pure, hungry evil.
So you wonder, why is this horrifying tree still standing?
Well, the story covers that. The land was abandoned, Grandma bought it cheap, but nobody could cut the tree down.
Attempts failed, right?
Yeah.
The axe blade would break.
Or, even worse, the person trying would just vanish.
Which tells you what about this thing's power?
That it's deeply rooted, literally and figuratively. It actively defends itself. It's not passive, it has agency, it resists being destroyed.
It makes it feel almost unbeatable.
Right. It makes the grandmother's warnings feel less like superstition and more like a grim acceptance of an inescapable reality.
So Mary and Eli are, understandably, terrified. They beg Grandma to let them leave.
But she refuses. And her reason is chilling. She says the tree knows who touches it, and it waits.
It waits, like a predator, patient.
Exactly. And then, the very next night, Eli's gone.
Just vanished. Bed empty, window open.
And outside, that same telltale sign, a trail of black rot leading back to the woods.
Oh man, it's not random, it's targeted.
Precisely. The tree knows who touched it, like Grandma said, and it's come for him. It links his disappearance directly, physically back to the tree. The tree claimed its price.
So the police search, neighbors search, nothing. Eli's just gone.
But John, the other narrator, he has this grim feeling, this certainty.
He knows where Eli is.
He knows Eli's at that tree, so he decides desperately to go there himself, alone.
And as he gets closer, the forest goes completely silent. That detail, the silence. Why is that so effective?
It ramps up the tension, doesn't it? Total isolation, like the world is holding its breath. The silence you find in a predator's hunting ground.
Yeah.
And what he finds hanging from a branch, it's a real masterstroke of horror.
It's not Eli.
No. He says, it wasn't Eli's body. It was something else. It was me.
Oh, God.
Hanging, limp, lifeless. But it was wearing my clothes, my shoes. What is that vision doing to him? What's the threat there?
It's so personal. That's not just showing him death. It's showing him his death, his future.
Exactly. It's an assault on his identity. The entity is basically saying, you're next. I've already got you, Mark. It's a horrific personal prophecy.
And then, the final twist of the knife. Then it opened its eyes.
Right there. That's the entity acknowledging him, making direct contact, confirming its sentience, its intent towards him. It's not just a vision, it's a conscious warning from the thing itself.
He barely gets back to the house. Can't speak for hours, just traumatized.
And when he finally does speak, all he says is, it shows you what it's gonna take.
What does that even mean? What it's gonna take?
It's cryptic, but terrifyingly suggestive, isn't it?
Yeah.
It implies the tree doesn't just want a life, it wants a specific kind of sacrifice, maybe a soul, maybe something more. It has conditions, it demands something.
Well, they leave the next day. Obviously, they get out of there.
But the story makes it clear.
Yeah.
The hollow root, it's still there, still waiting.
And then the modern twist that just brings it all crashing back.
Yeah, this is really unsettling. A few weeks ago, Eli's phone pinged. Just once.
And the location data showed.
Right there, near the hollow root.
What does that detail, that ping, due to the story right at the end.
It just obliterates any sense of safety or closure, doesn't it? It pulls this ancient horror right into the present day using modern tech.
Yeah.
It proves the tree's reach hasn't diminished. Eli's fate is still unresolved, still tied to that spot. It suggests the entity is still active, still holding on to him somehow. The hunt isn't over. Leaves you with this awful, lingering chill.
Wow. So we've walked through this really terrifying journey from, what seemed like an innocent summer visit.
Right into a nightmare.
And this deep dive, I think it shows how those specific, really potent details, that black trail of rot, the story of the Crenshaws hanging with no ropes, John seeing himself hanging. And these things lift it way beyond just a spooky campfire tale.
Totally. It's a masterclass in layering things. Ancient warnings, psychological dread, physical evidence. It all comes together to create something deeply unsettling.
And it really hammers home how these old legends, this folklore, can feel intensely personal, blurring that line between just believing a story and actually living it.
Yeah, it forces you to think about the idea that maybe some places do hold on to energy, onto trauma, an ancient malevolence that can be, well, woken up.
It definitely leaves you with a lot of questions and this sort of lingering dread about what might be unseen around us.
For sure.
If a place can hold on to something that potent, that old, what else is out there? And it makes you think, what would you do if you got a warning like, don't go near that tree after dark, ever? And it turned out to be absolutely terrifyingly real.
It's a chilling thought.
Yeah. Think about the power of a place that knows who touches it. How easily a dismissed story can become your own personal nightmare. That idea. An ancient predatory intelligence tied to a location. Yeah, that's definitely something to chew on. Might keep you up tonight.